You have spent months creating a strategy, and it looks great on paper. But 6 months later, nothing has really changed. Let's explore in this episode why your strategy isn't working and how you can fix that. Welcome everyone to our second episode of our Two-Step podcast.
Yeah.
Stefan, great to be here again.
Thanks, I'm feeling like I'm in the hot seat now. Last time you have been here.
That's true. Yeah, we changed positions to try something new.
Every day have a change of perspective.
So this episode, we want to talk about strategy. Specifically, why in many companies strategy is not really working and what you can do to get it fixed.
Yes, exactly.
So, what's the problem with strategy, Stefan? What would you say? What do you experience on your day-to-day work?
Like we talked about last year, we had done this experience, like 10 years of management consulting, and we worked with a lot of companies. And what I experienced is that the companies are created on a the strategies are created on a very, very high level in the executive part. And they're mostly done by external people, right? External consultants. Like us. But then a paper is generated, there's maybe good workshops, there's maybe good energy, and nothing. So the paper is created, people see this and they think, okay, good, but what does it mean for me? Like, mostly good words, but also what I realized that these strategies, I think the process towards these strategies with the management team is very important. That they sit together in a room, they talk about what is the direction, and then a massive wordsmithing is happening. Like, oh, we cannot use this language, let's make it simpler. Oh no, we cannot use this, let's make it simpler. And suddenly you get like 5 words and everybody pats themselves on the shoulders, and then you get an external consultant to do your nice graphic design, and that's what you have. You have a strategy and you have a nice graphic design. And when you go into the teams, you ask them, what's the company's strategy? I don't know. Okay, so you go into, usually you find it somewhere in the intranet, you have a keynote from the CEO and you watch this and you're like, okay, interesting. So we want to grow in this segment, we want to buy this, we want to do this. But still the team doesn't really know how they want to apply their strategy. Like how they, not even apply, but how they want to contribute to it. Like as compliance team, as legal team, as quality team, as HR team, how do we contribute to this strategy?
Yeah, I completely agree, and I think you touched a very crucial point. The process of the strategy paper being created in a room together with the top management. They talk days about the wording and what they understand behind each word.
Yes.
But then, what you said it correctly, what is passed down is just the essence.
Exactly.
And of course, this essence means so much more for the people that were in that room.
Exactly.
They understand the history behind it and everything, and the whole worlds and concepts behind it. Yeah. But how should people down the line, the rest of the company, how should they understand it?
Exactly.
What are your hot takes on it? How do you get strategy to the people?
I mean, it's what you said is talking about it. Like when you're a leader, you need to cascade it to the other team leaders, right? And you touched on this point, and we have been in these workshops. We love these workshops. Being participants and being facilitators, being part of these strategy workshops, the whole energy is generated around the conversation. So I would recommend that the leaders take the strategy, take this distilled version, and talk to the people and say, what do you understand about this? What is it in your day-to-day work? How can you apply it? Where does it trigger emotion? Where do you want to contribute? And you can create this context you described, you can create within the team yourself, right? This is like, for me, it's the first step is awareness, and how are we contributing to it?
How often do you recommend that leaders should do this? Is it because I'm thinking about communications, and you have to communicate, I don't know how often, 7 times, 8 times the message until people really hear about it.
Yes.
What do you recommend? How often should you talk about strategy?
So I think it's at least once a year, but I think it's not enough, right? I think we need a deep dive session. You need to see what is the systems you have. For example, you have a yearly performance review. You should talk about this in depth. in that management instrument, right? But maybe that's not enough. Would you talk about this weekly? Maybe not, right? Would you talk about this monthly? Depending on the pace of change of the business, maybe. But what we see also in SAFe, OKR, etc., is that we have like these 3-month cycles where we bring up the strategy paper once, and then maybe have another document like the sunshine diagram we usually use, or a roadmap where we put our interpretation of the strategy. So in my view, it's at least 4 times a year, every quarter, you should refresh yourself on the strategy. That's my view. And maybe even invite a leader who created that strategy to some of the sessions with your team, if possible, to see, is there any updates? Like you created this in January, now we are in March, April, is there any updates, anything which is not yet on paper, which we have to consider? Yeah.
What are, in your opinion, secrets to getting strategy operationalized?
Make it tangible. That's one thing. Like, I know that we're using the OKR method a lot. And for me, the secret sauce is in the formulation of, okay, you have a strategy. Maybe we need to make an example.
Yeah, and I think it's helpful if you go and also explain, okay, what do you mean with OKR method for the people that are not familiar?
Yeah, so OKR, Objectives and Key Results, in very short, is a new management framework where we don't do management by objectives, but management by objectives and key results. Now people say to me, okay, OKR, it's the same like objectives. It's not, it's an involvement of the people. For me, the magic in OKR happens, you define a set of objectives and then you define a set of key results, which the team is committing to do, right? And then you have the discussion. Is that possible? Do we need to have a stretch goal, etc. pp. So if you have the strategy, we want to grow in China by 20%, that's the company strategy. What, for me as a sales team, for example, how does this ripple down to me in the quarter 1? What can we achieve in quarter 1? Okay, maybe we have to establish a baseline first. So our first key result could be, we have a baseline. Second key result could be, we have all the target segments, etc. pp. So through this breakdown, through this planning, we make this abstract strategy goal clear, right? And interesting enough, it's the planning principle of Agile. Planning is everything, the plan is nothing. The planning process, it's the most important thing.
Say it again.
Planning is everything, the plan is nothing.
Oh, that's deep, yeah.
I love it, because I think it's like, people say, oh, we have this plan, it's already working, and then the plan goes into the drawer, right? Even for big projects, a project manager sits in a room and does the gunshot. No, that's not what we need. We need the strategy as a living document, and then we create the sets of OKRs, and we run the team. I think that's the first introduction, but maybe it's going deeper, I don't know. Yeah.
What would you say from your experience? What are common pitfalls and errors when it comes to getting strategy executed?
Getting strategy executed, I think it's to accept that, or to think that you don't have a contribution to it. It's one of the common pitfalls. Oh no, they have decided this at a big management group. We anyway cannot contribute to it. Or if we decide something now, a next transformation will come. So it's more like a mindset thing. It's one of this. What else could be a common pitfall is to get lost in perfectionism, trying to find the perfect plan for this strategy, the perfect solution before getting into execution and experimentation. I don't know, maybe you have a couple of more. You have also worked with strategy, I don't know.
What I experienced, not all companies follow strategies or create strategies. And I'm not saying per se that this is wrong. It might be that you're really at the edge of new technologies where you have no clue where you will stand in 2 years. Then a strategy does not really make sense. But then maybe you create a purpose and instead follow that purpose. And then, that unites the people. I think the important part is that you have something that makes it clear to people what they're contributing to when they're part of the company. And I've experienced it from people that complained about their companies because they're unclear why they are working for them. What they're investing their lifetime, unsure what they're driving forwards with.
Yeah.
So I think strategy is really a crucial piece to give people the motivation why they should come to work. And I would encourage people also that if they don't understand the strategy, take it as an opportunity, talk to your boss, talk to your leader about it. And let's be honest, the leader might not be clear on the strategy themselves. But then it's for them.
I love your side eye today.
But then it's on them to educate themselves and give you then an answer in the next session. So yeah, I think it's an important motivator.
And also, like, we talked about this before, right? Defining what we're doing. And this story where you said, let's call it transformative strategy. And it's like, but strategy should always be transformative, right? And I thought about this after this, and what is strategy? Strategy is giving the company a direction for the next X number of years, as tangible as possible, and it's decided from kind of the people, the upper management, but it needs to ripple down. I think this is the problem as well. It's one of the pitfalls. There is no effort in rippling it down, and it will not help only to copy your objective from a strategy into a workday. You also have to make this like the same like the management does, create a room for the team to discuss how they can contribute.
Yeah, right? I think that's a really good point. Yeah.
Right. If they cannot contribute, if they cannot ripple down, I think it should be the same. Like if you look at portfolio management, you have strategic objectives, for example, they are rippled down to the departments, but even maybe to the portfolios. So why don't we do this? Like, why do we stop at the company level? We create a strategy, we put it out on communication, and that's it. Right? Yeah. But why don't we take this and make it more practical for the people?
Maybe we should go back and define what we mean by strategy.
Exactly.
What we see
so I try to start it,
What would you say in your words? How do you see, what is strategy for you?
For me, strategy, as I said, is like direction, giving me direction. My company needs to be there in a couple of years. Here's the financial figures, maybe growth figures, what I need to do. But also new markets I want to have, new technologies. Basically, how do I stay competitive? How do I stay in the market with my company? That's for me a strategy. And the rest is how do I bring the people along? That's organizational change management, etc. But that's strategy for me. I don't know what you think.
How would you differentiate it from a vision?
A vision is for me as a picture. And the strategy gives me more like, here's some path we're going. And the vision is more like the lighting bulb in the end, right? And let's not even go about how vision statements are formulated in companies, but I think we have the same problem, right? I don't feel a lot of captivating, I don't see a lot of captivating visions for me, unless ours, of course. But, but from, I think, that's the difference for me.
Very well.
Yeah. So it's a and how to say it, like, the format is not important as long as it's clearly formulated. Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, yeah.
And transformation happens with the people anyway. It will not happen on the paper. Yeah.
Did you experience also strategy that was broken down the way you just described into teamwork, into tangible team results, and then where it resulted in failure, where on this team level then it showed that maybe the strategy needs adaptation?
Yeah, the strategy or the leadership style.
What do you mean?
Because like it was broken down, like there was even like a team established and they had the opportunity to take these strategy parts, these strategy pillars and implement them. And they went on and they created it and they were creative, and suddenly the manager came in and said, I don't agree with this. And so the people were already saying this as part of this coaching process. They told me, like, how do we ensure that if we create something now as part of the strategy, how do we ensure that it's also done and it's not shut down by the management layer unless they see it? So maybe in the process where the team fails to get the people involved to do it, to get the management expectations, etc. Right?
In your example, what would you say, what was the error that the people did, or what went wrong there?
I think it went wrong to bring the decision makers and the leadership team along at the crossroads, basically. So they were given a lot of space, they used the space, but they didn't use, like they were going into the wrong direction, and they could have used the leaders to go more into what also they envision. You see, like, for example, if a leader wants to extend, let's say, in technology a lot, right? And then the team goes and they see more problems in the people management area, and they will develop a solution for the people management area, then there will be a mismatch between strategy, vision, and what the team has created. So there still needs to be like a little bit of guardrails, I feel, from the management team. Because it's never, I think it's an illusion to say, this is a blank field, you can do whatever you want. It's not true.
Yeah.
Right? We have a budget restriction, we have existing customers, we have existing markets, so we need to set these guardrails and be realistic about it, and also tell them what is the solution you're creating, how is it realistic that we will do it, because otherwise this is demotivating as well, right?
Yeah.
So even if it's rippled down to the teams, there has to be communication about expectations, guardrails.
Yeah, so you talk about a continuous conversation both upwards and downwards.
Exactly.
To stay in touch. So to also then make it transparent, okay, this is how we understood what you've given us. This is what we will do in the next quarter or over the year.
Yeah.
And to give then the management also the chance to say, no, you misunderstood.
Exactly. And now we're back on agile cadence, agile principles, right? Back on like what we've done and what we're doing in Agile and Scrum on a technical level, where we do retrospectives, where we do product demos. We have to do the same if we apply OKRs and strategy development. If we apply these cadences, we have to invite our management and tell them, this is what we produced. What do you think about it? Invite them on a regular basis to intervene if they want to with the process, to give input, to be constructive, to give constructive feedback and sometimes criticism, right? So if we use the OKR cycles, if we use these cadence, what I mean? So when I say cadence, I mean a series of events which helps us to commit to deliver a result, even if it's not perfect. Because behind the cadence is this principle that we have a fixed amount of time, and at the end of the day, we will present to our sponsors, our management, etc. And it will never be perfect. But we have a day in the calendar, right? And we have a next day next month. We have a next day next month. And if we do the same with the strategy development and OKR, we get the feedback we need. And we need to give ourselves the permission to get this feedback. If the manager doesn't come to the meeting, we need to reschedule, we need to invite them again, right? So this is the whole I don't know why we differentiate between creating an IT development product and delivering strategy, because for me it's another level on the company, but implementing it's the same. That's my thesis.
What do you say to the people that say, okay, OKRs, here we are again every quarter, and now we have to think about something creative new that we're doing for the next 3 months. But let's be honest, in my day job, I'm always doing the same because I have this tool to administer and it's not changing very much in the next 3 months. So should I be even here in this workshop?
Yeah, my answer is yes. Do we need to have all the routine tasks as an OKR? Potentially not, but is there really no thing you want to improve in that area? If there's not, maybe they should still be there too, because it's about the sharing again, right? The planning process is about the sharing. It's not only contributing your planning items, but to listen what the other people are doing. It's to see if we have synergies somewhere. So they should definitely be present. If they, for example, have routine tasks, if they work in IT service management, they will have the task of continuous improvement. So I wouldn't see in the OKRs, I wouldn't see all the stuff they do in the service management, but another level up. How do you want to improve your service? How do you want to improve your customer service? Because that's the next level to strategy. And here comes this is the thing, why most of the agile stuff fails is because people don't use the right granularity.
Can you evolve on that? What do you mean with that?
Like, this is like the question you asked is when people come to you like this, they haven't understood how they should use the systems in place to create a aspirational task. So for example, if I have to maintain a system every day, of course it's not an OKR, it's a task. If I'm tasked to create a vision for the system because it's maybe running out, or maybe I have to extend the user base of the system, it becomes an OKR because it's a 3-month task. It's something I have to do. I have to engage with the organization, right? it's outward looking, management has to be aware, it binds my resources, becomes OKR.
I see. Yeah.
You know, that's maybe a deep dive in Agile, but this is what I feel. If there's a communication externally to the organization, it may be a key result of the OKR. And there may be people saying OKRs should be outcome driven, not output. It's another topic.
Yeah, I think one of the crucial elements of an OKR workshop is it's not about you and what you do the next 3 quarters. It's about the team.
Mm-hmm.
What you as team are accomplishing together.
Yeah.
So it might be that you're part of the team and you don't really have your individual tasks that you contribute to, but think about where you can really advance something on the team level. Yeah.
True. Yeah. So maybe we have individual level, team level, as we say, organizational level, and in organizational level we have departments, as you say, maybe squads, depending on the structure, and then we have the management, the upper management or middle management, upper management. So all these levels could use OKRs and could ripple down their goals, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and there are some fancy tools on the market that show exactly that, where you can see the OKRs from the whole company, how they feed into each other and interact.
Exactly.
And I think that's highly beneficial then if you can link it in between.
True.
But for the people that start, I think even an Excel sheet would do in the beginning.
I mean, that's what you're doing very well with your teams, right? I'm more like the geek guy. I'm trying to do everything in a tool. And you say, no, let's focus on the content. Let's do a G sheet or an Excel sheet, right? And now we're involved, like for one of the teams we're coaching, now we're involved into Monday.com, for example, as an example, or other tools on the market. But it's not about the tool. It's about creating the conversation. It's about creating visibility too. If you have the OKRs in there and people know about it, that's good.
Yeah.
But I think what we also learned, what we should also maybe say, is that even the OKR process, even the strategy development process, because we talk about strategy, it's an experimental process. And we saw it in some of our clients we have now for 2 years. And we do the regular workshops. Every 3 months we do a workshop, and part of this workshop is a retrospective, like in Agile. And we approve the process. And now we're kind of in a stable version. We say, okay, everybody's fine with this. We want to use it like this. But I still think there will be stuff to improve. But what we do, and what I think is the minimum years we should have, give ourselves a 1 year time frame. Try it for 1 year. Trust the process, because people start to give up on the process too easily. They compare it, and this, like, we heard this before. We have done this before. We have done OKR before, but maybe you haven't done it right. Yeah. So give yourself, and that's what we do. And 1 year, every quarter a workshop, and then do the weekly, do the OKR check-ins. And by the way, they don't have to be weekly. Like in the theory, you can do it monthly. It's fine too.
I think you're touching on an important point here, which is you have to trust the process, but also you have to create a process that works for you. So not stick to the dogma, stick to how it was designed, make it really match your requirements, how you work together, and then create your version of it.
Yes.
And it's not important that you're following the textbook step by step, but that you have something that works for you. Exactly. I think that's something that we're really good at bringing to the companies that we work with. Yeah. To see and feel, okay, what's their culture, how are they working, and then integrate this and bring along from our side then, okay, this is the OKR method, and now let's bring it together and create a version for you.
So to summarize why strategies fail, because we're creating a flight level, and it's even like a plane flying over the ocean. Right?
Yeah, that's good.
But it's never touching the ground, and people, they're looking up into the plane and they try to connect. But what we really should do, we should go down and maybe create some bridges. We have these like ropes going out of the plane, right? So the management needs to go up, down, and then people need to. So it needs to be. It's more like this. It needs to be a conversation. It doesn't need to be. It's not a one-way street where we fly and we drop packages of food, like strategy packages, and then we're done. No, it's similar like to delivering products, similar to delivering change in the teams. It has to be practical. It has to be on the ground, and we will fail. We will make mistakes, but it's about this conversation and transparency, and then we will be good. And then the strategy maybe will be more tangible next time.
Really good. That was an interesting episode. Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Stefan.
Thank you for giving me the room to talk about this. I love this topic.
We felt that your heart was in it.
Thank you.
Thanks everyone for joining, and I hope you will join again for our third episode on trust building coming soon.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for joining us on The Workplace Shift. We love helping leaders like you build teams that actually make strategy happen. If this episode resonated with you, share it with a colleague or leave us a review. It really helps. See you next time.